Chris Rodenheiser and welcome to another episode of Cooking for Guys. Today we're going to be working with basil, which is the ultimate summer herb. You can find it just about everywhere in abundance, and we're going to make pesto sauce today. Not only are we going to make pesto sauce, which is known for basically a great pasta sauce, we're also going to show you some of the different uses for pesto besides just putting it on pasta. So let's go ahead and get started making our pesto sauce. When you get basil from the market, it usually looks like this. There's a whole bunch of stems. And basically what you want to do is you want to peel off so you just have the leaves. And get all the leaves, anything that that's stem-like you don't want to use. So just the leaves, rinse them, dry them, and then have them in a bowl like this. Okay, so you got a ton of basil leaves. Besides the basil, we're going to need olive oil, salt, garlic, Parmesan cheese, and pine nuts. So I'm going to go ahead and take about 2 cups of the basil leaves, and I'm going to pack them pretty tight. That's how I'm going to measure them, but not too tight, just so I know I've got 2 dense cups of basil leaves. And that's about 2 cups right there. A little extra for good measure. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and blend those up with salt and garlic. Before we do that though, there's 3 ways that we could do this. We could do it with a mortar and pestle. We could do it with a blender, or we could do it with a food processor, the granddaddy. Okay, I prefer the food processor. Purists will say, no, you got to do the mortar and pestle. No, it takes too long and it's just too hard with 2 cups and you got to grind it, and maybe that's how they did it in Italy in 1940, but we don't do that anymore. The problem with blenders is it kind of gets caught up in the bottom and the leaves don't blend up real well, and it's just kind of a big mess, and it's, quite frankly, it's a pain in the butt. And I found my friend, the food processor, just does it best. Fast, quick, easy, and before you know it, you got a sauce. If you don't have a food processor, try the blender. All right, let's go ahead and load up the food processor. So I'm going to take 1 clove of garlic, and I'm just going to cut off the edges like that. Give it a smash, peel off the skin so that it's basically a skinless clove of garlic. And I'm going to just add that in with the basil. Then I'm going to take about a ½ teaspoon of salt, which is a pinch or 2. In that case, 1 pinch. That was a pretty big pinch. And I'm going to put that in the food processor. So let's go ahead and do that right now. The reason that you want to put the salt in with the leaves is it actually keeps the leaves green. If you tend to, because basil's like avocado, as soon as you start blending it, it turns brown. So you want to make sure that you put the salt in with the basil and the garlic, keeps the leaves nice and green so you get that green color of your pesto. And just go ahead and pulse it so it's all chopped up. Once you got that all blended, we're going to go ahead and add the pine nuts and the Parmesan cheese. Okay, pine nuts I put about a tablespoon. Okay, and so I'll go ahead and just add that in. Put it this way, and then 2 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese. Blend that. You could probably keep it going, but I like to just kind of, for the sake of explaining, I'll turn that off. And then I'm going to measure a ½ cup of olive oil. And I had a measuring cup right here, so let's go ahead and do that. And you want to use the best quality olive oil you can find. Don't be cheap or chintzy on the olive oil and use some of that junky stuff you might find. This is a really good first press extra virgin olive oil. I mean, basically this is the juice of the sauce, so don't skimp on it. Use a really good one. And the trick to this is to slowly drizzle it in. So I'm going to keep it on and just slowly drizzle the olive oil in. You can hear the sound changing as the oil gets in and starts to take over the sauce. I can already smell it. It smells so good. Okay, and blend that up for a while. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop it. I'm going to take off the lid. I'm going to take a spatula and just kind of clean the sides so I make sure that everything gets well blended. And then I'll turn it back to pulse one more time. That's all there is to it. Let's take it out and cook some pasta. Now that the pesto's done, let's go ahead and remove it and put it in a bowl. You can take the blades out first and just scrape any pesto that you have on the blades into the bowl. And then remove the bowl. And let's go ahead and pour that into some kind of bowl you got in the house. And then just scrape off everything with a rubber spatula. Here it is, pesto. Took me about 5 minutes to make it. You know what? Besides putting on pasta, this stuff you can put on toast, like crostini. Check out my video on crostini, and you can just add this on top of the toast. It's fantastic. Some people say it kind of looks unattractive, shall we say, something you might find in a baby's diaper, but I'm telling you, this stuff is the cream of the crop right here. You can also put it on sliced tomatoes. You can put it on scrambled eggs. You can mix it in with your Italian dressing and throw it into your salad. It's fantastic. But best of all, it's on pasta. So let's go check and see if the pasta's ready, and let's mix up a bowl of pasta right now. So the pasta's just about done. I'm going to go ahead and take about a tablespoon of pesto and put it in the bottom of my bowl. A little more maybe. And the reason I do that is because when I throw the pasta in the bowl, it's already got stuff on the bottom, and it's just easier to mix up. So let me go ahead and see if the pasta is done. We'll drain it, and I'm going to come back to you. I'm going to throw this pasta right in the bowl and add a little bit more pesto until the consistency is just right. Okay, I just drained the pasta, so let's go ahead and throw it in the bowl. Yeehaw! Okay, and we're going to add a little bit more pesto. I normally don't stir pasta with a tablespoon, but this is all I have right now, and I don't want to run across the kitchen to get tongs. But if you can get inside here, I'll show you how green it looks. And I mix it up really well. And you can see there's more concentration of green there, so I want to keep mixing it so that it's pretty evenly distributed. And I'm going to throw just about another half a tablespoon on there. And I think we're good to go. That looks good. Let's go ahead and put it on plates. Okay, now we're all set here. We've got about a ½ pound of pasta. And you might have noticed that I didn't use all my pesto. That's because I didn't use a pound of pasta. A pound of pasta feeds about 4 people. We used a ½ pound because I'm just feeding 2 today. So I'm going to go ahead and plate it up. There you go. Nice, look at that. Doesn't that look good? And a good way to finish off pesto, the pasta, is to put a little Parmesan cheese on it. Now, some people don't like Parmesan, so you just have to check with your guests. It's got a little in the sauce, so you don't need to add too much, but I like a little on mine, so I'm going to go ahead and put some Parmesan on top. If you want to decorate it with a basil leaf or something like that, you can do that too. You know, this bowl of pesto can be served as a first course. If you're having a barbecue, you want to start with pasta, just serve this first. Or you can also kind of serve it as a main dish with maybe a side of vegetables or a salad, a nice glass of white wine or light red or even rosé. Rosé's in right now. So anyway, either way, it's an easy dish, and I know you're going to love it if you give it a shot. This is another episode of Cooking for Guys. Today we made pasta al pesto.